Welcome back to the Offseason Outlooks podcast. Today we are going to be looking at the Commanders, how they can get back to their NFC Championship winning ways and right the ship after this pretty lackluster season filled with Jayden Daniels injuries, abysmal corner play. Just a terrible team this year. No other way to put it. 27th rated PFF defense. Changes need to be made. They swung for the fences this year. A lot of big contracts. They traded for Marshawn Lattimore. They got Debo. Didn't go their way. Let's fix it. Okay. First order of business. We are cutting Marshawn Lattimore. This is a no-brainer. Like I said, they tried it. They traded for him. I thought it was a win-now move. I thought it was justified. Since then, he's sucked, torn his ACL, and was arrested. We're cutting him. That gives us $18.5 million more in cap, putting us at $86 million in cap spend. Commanders have a lot of cap maneuverability this year. We may need to take advantage of it because there are glaring holes on this roster. So we cut Lattimore. That leaves our corners at Mike Sainer still. He's serviceable. 51.7 PFF grade, 97th out of 113 cornerbacks. Not great. So what are we going to do? We're going to turn to our NFC rival, Chicago. And we're going to look at Jaquan Brisker and Nahshon Wright as free agents. Chicago, not a lot of cap maneuverability. They're already looking towards the future, how many guys they're going to be paying up front on offense. I expect them to do something with DJ Moore's contract, whether that's a restructuring, trading him, or letting him go. But there's no doubt they're not going to be able to retain everybody on defense. And I'm looking at Jaquan Brisker at 3 years, $36 million as a possibility. Nahshon Wright is a turnover machine. The Commies had 8 total defensive turnovers forced this season. That is the 4th fewest in the NFL. They created no turnovers. I'm pretty sure Nahshon Wright might have had 8 turnovers created himself. I know he had 5 picks. He was known for stripping the ball out of a pile. He's a big physical corner, fast. I like him flying around on this DQ defense. If not, I'm turning to Seattle. I'm turning to Tariq Woolen. The only problem is to get him, they're going to have to overpay because Seattle is going to be hell-bent on retaining him and retaining him as a core part of their incredible defense that has taken them to the NFC Championship this year. Seattle's also got lots of cap space, so unless they think that Josh Jobe or Kobe Bryant can really step up, Tariq Woolen, they're not going to let go just because of his size and speed. But if so, I like him at 4 years, $70 million for the Commies. I think he would be great in the secondary. He gives them speed, physicality. He can tackle. He can break on the ball. I like him for this defense. I like him for DQ. Next, I'm going to be taking a look at the pass rush because it's abysmal. It's straight up abysmal. Javon Kinlaw, 46.8 PFF rating, 108th out of 131 D linemen. He was Adam Peters' guy from the 49ers. They brought him in. Hasn't been great. The only highlights on this pass rush are Dorrance Armstrong, and I fully expect Daron Payne to have a healthy, productive season next year after he didn't really do much this year. 60.8 PFF grade, really regressed from last season. That's what happens when you take away Montez Sweat and you take away other edge rushers that allow for Daron Payne to go one-on-one up the middle. When they can force those 2 interior guards to block him, he's not going to be as productive. I do expect Jerzon Newton to progress a little bit more. I don't know. He's huge at 6'2", 300, but he just doesn't have really any pass rush skills. And he is an awful run defender. 36.7 run defense, PFF grade, 117th out of 130. Teams run the ball down the Commanders' throats, and they take the top off of their abysmal secondary. It's a recipe for disaster, and that's why their defense stinks. And that's what brings me to the draft. Because luckily, as unforgiving a business as the NFL is, they give every team a first-round pick. And if you suck, that first-round pick is going to give you a pretty damn good player. And I like the commies where they are picking at 7. 2 players they need to ensure they get. It's either or at this position. I do have a preference, but they're both incredible, and that is Caleb Downs or David Bailey. I would rather go for David Bailey just because I think that edge rusher is such a more important position than safety. This offseason might be proving me wrong with that, with Nick Emanwari and how great he's been playing for Seattle. Quentin Lake, what he's been doing for the Rams. And no doubt, Caleb Downs is a special player. But David Bailey at 6'3", 250 is pure speed and production. 13.5 sacks, almost a 93 overall PFF grade. 93.5 when rushing the passer. He is a special player. He's an amazing kid from Stanford. I know he transferred to Texas Tech. It's because he realized he wanted to play big-time football, and that wasn't going to be the case on the farm. My only worry with Bailey is that he's not going to be there at 7. I'm looking at Robert Saleh and his Tennessee Titans at number 4. A lot of people have been projecting they take a weapon for Cam Ward, either Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson. Saleh's a defensive guy. He's got defense in his blood, and I know he's looking at that Tennessee pass rush, which consists of Jeffrey Simmons and Jeffrey Simmons, and thinking that adding David Bailey to that would be a boon for that defense. And he's right. But if it all works out and David Bailey falls, you got to take him. I expect him to test like a freak at the combine. He was 3rd in the NCAA in hurries, 3rd in sacks, number 1 in total pressures at 73. You need to get to Dak Prescott. You need to get to Jackson Dart. You need to get to Jalen Hurts. David Bailey is your guy for that. Like I said, Caleb Downs is a ball hawk. I don't love taking safeties that high. I don't love it. I know the position is becoming more important if you can put them in the nickel. They play closer to the ball. It opens up blitz packages. I would be happy with that pick, but David Bailey is my number 1 for this defense. Now, moving into a little bit more of the free agency picks on the offensive side of the ball. They need to establish a run game in order to protect Jayden Daniels. If Jayden Daniels feels like he needs to kill himself for 5 yards of offense on these long second downs, which they were so privy to, it's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for a lot of games started by Sam Hartman next year. So what do they need to do? They need to replace Chris Paul at left guard. 38.2 PFF run blocking grade. 74th out of 77. Abysmal. He can't be back for them next year. He's a 7th round pick. You don't want a 7th round pick starting on your O-line. I'll tell you that much. So what do? They're going to go out and sign Tevin Jenkins, 27 years old guard from the Cleveland Browns. 79.1 run blocking grade. 8 out of 81 ranked PFF guards. You're going to get him at a 2-year, $22 million contract. He's big. He's physical. He moves the D-line. And that's the first step in establishing a run game. Second step is actually getting a serviceable and fast running back. I don't want to run it back with Austin Eckler. He's old. He had a season-ending injury. The other running back, what's his name? Jaquaski Merritt. He's got a hyphenated last name. He fumbles the ball a lot. He's speedy. Yes, he's elusive. He's elusive behind the chains. You need someone to go and get you 4 or 5 yards on first down. That's why we're going to sign Travis Etienne for 2 years, $15 million. It's a steal if you can get him at this price. I think that the Jaguars might be willing to let him walk because of the production they got out of their rookie running backs, Bashal Tutin and LaQuint Allen. I mean, we saw Bashal Tutin in that playoff game against the Bills. He was averaging 11 yards a carry. If Travis Etienne is not on the table, I want to draft Jadarian Price, running back out of Notre Dame in the later rounds. He was overshadowed by Jeremiah Love all year, but man, he has breakaway speed. He has breakaway speed. He hits the hole. He gets down. 4 or 5 yard gains. That's what this offense needs. This offense needs to get away from the Cliff Kingsbury throw, punt offense, which they did so many times last year. And David Blough he's stepping in as OC. He needs to establish a run game. That is how you take pressure off your quarterback. That is how you get pressure on the defense. And that's how you open up the field, open up the play sheet. It's much easier to dial up something for Jayden Daniels on 2nd and 4 than it is on 2nd and 9. One more on the defense to shore up this pass rush, especially if David Bailey is unavailable in the draft. I think just because of the sheer amount of cap space they have, I think you go out and you try to make a push for Odafe Oweh from the Chargers. You might need to slightly overpay a little bit. I don't care. Odafe Oweh, 74 PFF grade, 78 pass rush. He's not great in the run defense. That's okay. He's an edge rusher. You got Deron Payne to take care of that. Okay, 30 hurries on the season for Odafe Oweh. He's not a premier edge, but you just need some talent and some speed on this defense. 3 years, $60 million. I like him to come in and add to this defense right away. I think with these couple of moves, they should be able to compete in the NFC because they have Jayden Daniels and they have Terry McLaurin. But they need a complete roster. Bring in David Bailey. Bring in these free agents. Shore up the secondary, and they should be fine. This has been Offseason Outlook. Thank you for listening.